Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Weirdly Cosmic podcast with Louise Eddington. I am the Cosmic Owl of Cosmic Owl Astrology. And before I dive into Saturn stationing direct, I would really like to thank all of my subscribers. We've got a lot of new subscribers come in over the last few days as I make this, and I appreciate every one of you. If you are not already subscribed to this channel, please hit the subscribe button below. Our YouTube algorithms love subscriptions. Also, give me a thumbs up and hit the little bell so you get notified when I upload new content. That's if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on audio only, wherever you prefer to listen to your podcasts, whether that's iTunes podcasts or Spotify or wherever, I would love it if you would take the time to go over to iTunes, search Weirdly Cosmic Podcast iTunes, go to my show page and leave me a review, hopefully 5-star, hopefully a written one. I would really appreciate that too. All those little details help with the algorithms. But otherwise, I'm really grateful for my listeners, very grateful for you being here every day, for all the views. So keep coming. So today we're going to talk about Saturn stationing direct. I'm recording this on October the 20th of 2022. And we are about to hit a really busy period. I've already done an interview with Ariel Gutman, and I was over on Lunatic Astrology channel as well, talking about the Venus cazimi. Well, right after the Venus-Sun conjunction, cazimi, whilst the Sun and Venus are still cazimi, we have Saturn stationing stationing direct. So let me show you the chart first of all. And incidentally, okay, Saturn stationed retrograde on June the 4th at 25 degrees and 15 minutes Aquarius. And now Saturn is stationing direct at 18 degrees and 35 minutes of Aquarius. And in this chart, I've stripped out some things that really are not affected by this Saturn station, just to give you a little bit of clarity. So here we have I've set the chart for Washington, DC. I'm going to do all signs forecasts, so don't worry about that. So we're going to look at everybody's rising sign, sun sign, and even a little bit moon sign. But I just really wanted you to see the patterns of this Saturn station direct. Now, the first thing of note to my mind is that Saturn is stationing direct conjunct Vesta. They're only 6 degrees apart, and Vesta is almost at the degree that Saturn stationed retrograde at. I think this is really important because Vesta in astrology represents focus, commitment, devotional kind of energy. But Vesta was also the hearth of the state. Okay, if the Vestal Virgins kept the sacred fire of the state burning, it was believed that Rome or the city or the state would not fall. And here we have Vesta, very focused, very committed, very devoted in the sign of Aquarius, which is really about humanitarian, the group, thinking of everybody, thinking of the future, thinking of where we're going. And Saturn, of course, is the ruler of Aquarius, using the traditional rulerships, which I am more prone to do these days. Yes, Uranus is associated with Aquarius, but I think Saturn rules Aquarius. And there's some very good astrologers would agree with me. But anyway, so we have Saturn, and Saturn is also a very focused thing. It's very determined, kind of tunnel vision, saying, I am determined to master, to achieve, to climb. Saturn also kind of puts the blocks on a little, the brakes, and says, get very sure, be the wise elder. It is a planet of wisdom also. So this is a very focused thing, and we're recording this on October the 20th. It's actually 2:51 p.m. my time, so 4:51 p.m. on Washington, D.C. time. So we are less than 3 days away from Saturn stationing direct. You can feel the wheels grinding to a halt because Saturn stations are like a big old brake and a big strong turning point. Saturn is bones, Saturn is strength, Saturn is that determination and devotion, like I said. It's kind of like, I am going to see this through to the end, very diligent. And we'll look at the Sabian and Chandra symbols, and they both reflect this station. And I think this Saturn station being conjunct Vesta makes it even more focused, all right? Because Vesta actually stationed direct on October the 5th. So she herself has not been direct very long. So we're getting kind of this push, this turnaround, and this strong digging push forward. Okay, sorry for so much hands. Now then, Saturn is at 18 degrees Aquarius, as I said. Now it's in an almost exact trine to Mercury. Mercury in Libra, way past his retrograde station. He's catching up to the sun now, but he's not within 10 degrees, so he's not combust the sun. So Mercury in Libra is very strong. Mercury is our mind, our communication, our thoughts, our ideas. He's a messenger of the gods. He moves between humans and the gods. And in Libra, he's in the sign of justice and the scales. So will there be news of a real turnaround in the scales of justice on this station? I would not be surprised, especially because Mercury is going to move forward right after this station, and Mercury is moving very fast now and start to catch up to the sun. I'll talk about that later, the next cazimi, but because I just want to focus on this now. While we're in Libra, you can see that Venus has moved 5 solar arc minutes past the sun, so she's still within 17 minutes of the sun, so we are still under the Venus cazimi. The Venus cazimi, incidentally, if you want approximate times, is from October the 21st at about 3:15 p.m. Eastern, so Washington DC time. You'll have to calculate your own time zone. Exact at 3:17 p.m. Sorry, 5:17 p.m. Eastern on October the 22nd, and finishes its cazimi at about 6:50 p.m. Eastern time, Washington DC time, on Sunday the 23rd. So this station, this Saturn turnaround of the events, is happening whilst Venus is cazimi the sun. So we've got that new phase starting, a new not only 9.5 month cycle till the next Venus retrograde cazimi, but also an 8-year cycle till the next Venus cazimi in Libra, and then also a new over 100-year cycle of Libra star points. If you watched my interview with Ariel Gutman, you'd have heard a little bit about that. So this is a very big turnaround point. And not only that, the moon is already in Libra as well and heading towards the sun. And we're about to have the first of 2 eclipses in this eclipse season. That will be on October the 25th. So we're well in the eclipse zone also. So all this Libra stuff about justice, the scales of justice, balancing, bringing some beauty back into the world, bringing some peace, hopefully, back into the world, is very, very strong as this Saturn turns direction. Okay. Now, I talked about this a little bit, but also Saturn is still in square to Uranus. And we had the Saturn Uranus square 3 times exact in 2021. And they've just come within 37 minutes of a fourth exact square. This is going to break the square apart. Saturn is going to start moving this way. Uranus is still moving back this way. Uranus is retrograde and is going to move all the way back to 14 Taurus, I believe. So he's got a long ways to go. And these two are going to start moving apart. But this station is kind of the turning point on that clashing square that we've had, really impacting us over the last 2 years, because we felt it approaching towards the end of 2020 also. And this has been the clash between radical change, conservatism, authoritarianism, liberation, new ideas, keep things the same, all things like that. So, you know, we've seen this clash in values. Libra in Taurus is Libra ruled and is very much to do with values. And this is happening while Venus is cazimi. So Uranus is Venus ruled, and Venus is still cazimi, starting this new phase of our life world for another 100 years. So there's going to be a real turnaround, I think, based on our values. All right. Other things I should talk about is that really, because Saturn is conjunct Vesta on this station, it's in sextile to Eris, the goddess of discord, who is opposing the cazimi. And she is pulling down the picket fence. She's revealing what's going on behind the facade. Lastly, Saturn and Mercury make this lovely triangle to Pallas Athena and Black Moon Lilith. And that's in a quincunx to Saturn. And here we have powerful, powerful divine feminine energy in Cancer, the sign of the family, the mother, our emotions, self-care, self-love. Black Moon Lilith is kind of the wild, divine feminine, a little bit ragey, a little bit kind of being shamed and is not going to take any more kind of crap. So Pallas Athena is the wise owl. She is the creative intelligence. She is the strategist, creating strategies and pulling all the pieces of the puzzle together to move forward. And I actually like that Saturn is in quincunx to these two. He's saying we've got to make adjustments and start to care for one another. And then Mercury is in square to Pallas Athena and Black Moon Lilith in very feminine signs, I'm going to say. You know, Libra is, as I said, the sign of peace and balance and scales of justice, and Cancer, the sign of the mother, the family, the feelings, love, nurturing, being in your own little shell, protection, security, and safety. So these two are saying we have to change direction to make adjustments to create a more secure, safe world for everybody, for, you know, everybody that's existing. Last thing I want to say about this chart is that the moon is opposing Jupiter. Jupiter's about to move back into Pisces, but in this one we've got Jupiter set his last blast of Aries until he moves back into it later in the year. And this is big feelings. We're going to get some big feelings on this station direct. We're already seeing the big discordant turns of events. Like this morning, Liz Truss was Prime Minister of the UK for what, 45 days, and she resigned. The whole country's in chaos. We've got similar chaos going on here as in the US as we go into the midterms. We've got the chaos happening in Ukraine and Russia, or in Ukraine because of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine with Russia's invasion of, like, some of it's coming in with drones, and then Ukraine has been retaking some territory, but it's kind of like this all over the place. So very Libra, swinging from one side to the other. We've got chaos in Iran and other places, Pakistan. I think the third of the country is still underwater, I believe. It's hard to keep up with all of it. Everything feels very chaotic, but I do think things are about to turn around, because we're having the Venus cazimi while Saturn stations, and then we've got the eclipses coming right after to bring some radical change. And I think you'll enjoy the symbols for this station. But first of all, let me pull a tarot card. What does the card want to tell us? Just one card message, please. One card message for Saturn stationing direct at 18 degrees and 35 minutes of Aquarius. What do the cards wish to say? Ah, oh, well, we got the Hanged Man, surrender. That, like, just surrender to the flow. This is, there's no kind of point of fighting any of it. Just go with the flow, go into yourself, find your inner balance, your inner fulcrum in the scales of chaos and justice, and just surrender and go. Hey, these are big forces. There's a lot out of my control at the moment, so let me surrender and let go, and let the divine take the wheel, if you like. That's kind of the Hanged Man card. So I am going to look at all signs. So before I do, I'm going to read the symbols. But as I do that, I'm going to ask again, please don't forget to subscribe, leave me reviews on iTunes if you can, hit that little bell. Also give me a thumbs up, all helps the social media algorithms. And now let's go to the symbols. And then we'll go to all signs. So Aquarius 19, we always go up because the symbols start at 1 and the degrees start at 0. So the Sabian symbol for the Saturn station is a forest fire is being subdued by the use of water, chemicals, and sheer muscular energy. Dane Rudyard's keynote says the skill and courage necessary to bring under control the destructive potential of carelessness of karmic visitations. Okay. And let me read what he said about this. This is Dane Rudyard's interpretation of the symbols. Forest fires may be caused by human carelessness, by lightning, or by the byproducts of modern technology. Every individual, at least once in his lifetime, if not repeatedly, may perhaps have to face spectacular reactions to seemingly insignificant acts. These are to be considered means to test their strength, ingenuity, or emotional stability. Every faculty at their disposal must be made use of: emotional, mental, physical. They need faith in themselves and in superior powers. Let go and let God. And it's this degree, he says, suggests there is a need for a total mobilization of energy and a deep sense of indomitability. Now, Saturn is also bones, backbone, our structure, our skeleton. This is suggesting that tap into that deep strength of Capricorn, and that determination and grit is a one, and sheer grit to kind of move through this time. So, okay, because it is turning around, because after all, the forest fire is subdued. Now, the Chandra symbol is actually kind of similar. So there's a loud crushing noises as a glacier moves. That's the symbol. Loud crushing noises as a glacier moves. The indomitable, there's that word again, spirit of one who has been at this forever and will still be on collective karmic alert to the very end. Purpose hugely takes precedence. Whatever is changing and whatever is staying the same are the two forces you track with and report back to cosmic center upon. You are being driven to the utmost to observe and witness objectively and dispassionately all the decisive and epochal shifts and pressures in the collective mix. Eyes wide open in the dark, attention riveted to trends and turning points and yielded up to a long ago agreed to code of recording and evaluating all the relevant data so that the cosmic forces can determine what is happening way down here and can fine-tune their ways to evolve the situation optimally, so that all concerned can synchronize with the greater ways and be released from anything and everything that runs counter to the bright promise of Earth evolution. How powerful are both those symbols? And by the way, I'm going to copy them in the show notes if you want to go down and read them or just listen to me read them again. The word indomitable, spirit, shows up in both of them, and it really has that sense of, you know, we can have that strength, we can have that grit, we can have that determination to stay the course. And I think this period of time is going to both require that and show to us that we have that. Hello everybody, this is part 2 of the Saturn Station Direct video. So it's splicing it into the first half. Yesterday I recorded the whole thing as a one-er and set it as a premiere. And as I was chatting with those that were watching, we realized 2/3 into it, the sound had just disappeared. And I have no idea why. But it's ironic because I'm talking about Saturn stationing direct, wheels grinding to a halt in aspect to Mercury, which is the voice. So it literally took out my sound. But here is the all signs. I'm going to do the whole thing from the start again because thanks to a friend of mine, I have figured out how to put the sign on the start of the house. So I am actually going to start with Pisces as I did before. So some of you may have seen this. And so if we look, Saturn with Pisces rising, if you look at your rising sign primarily, if you don't know your rising sign, look at your sun sign or look at both. You could be affected by both the rising and the sun, and to a little degree your moon sign, as to what area of the chart, which is the house, will be affected. So for Pisces, this is the unconscious. This is all creative, intuitive states, mystery, magic, mysticism, connecting to transpersonal knowledge and understanding. It can also mean secluded places and meditative states, that kind of thing. And Saturn has been retrograde in that area of your chart. You may have felt held back in those areas. And now Saturn is turning around and you can probably set your conscious intention to master something in the creative area, the intuitive area. Okay, so that's Pisces rising. Okay, so I'm still getting used to moving these. So now I want Aquarius. There we go. For Aquarius, this is in your first house. This is your persona, your personality. It's what you project and how others see you. It's kind of your face, all right? It's your natural style, appearance, and you, because again, it's Saturn stationing direct, and Saturn has been retrograde in that area of your chart. You may have felt kind of blocked off from others. Others may have found you a little bit standoffish for a while. You may have felt a little bit like, I can't get myself out there. I'm a little bit held back. Well, all that's going to change, especially for you, because Saturn is, sorry about that noise. Saturn is your ruling planet if you are Aquarius rising or Aquarius sun. I've been using the traditional rulerships more, by the way. Long story, but I think Uranus is associated with Aquarius, but Saturn rules Aquarius. So let's leave it that way, right? All right, so on to, oh, no, I went the wrong way. Capricorn rising. Capricorn, Saturn is your ruling planet too. And Saturn for you has been retrograde in your second house. And that is your self-confidence, your self-worth, what you value, your values, your relationship to the body and the natural world, and your attitude towards possessions and having and how you earn your money and how you make money. It's basically the house of your own personal resources, whether it's physical world, nature, money, wealth, or self-esteem and self-confidence. Okay. And so again, Saturn may have had you feeling restricted in those areas. Now the determination of Saturn is turning around and moving you forward. So that, how exciting is that for Capricorn? All right. Okay, come on. Change it. Sagittarius, me, third house, communication, perception, communication style, the voice, what you think and talk about, your learning style. And it can also mean writing. It can mean siblings too. You may have been having some blocks in your relationship with siblings, but think about it more about the communication, writing, learning, and things like that. Now it's time to move forward. How perfect for me to write my fourth book. So, yay. So, Scorpio, let's move the chart. Come on, Scorpio. There we go. Scorpio, it's in the house of the home, which is also is both your physical home and the nature of your inner private life and the basis of your security. It can mean the type of home you create or prefer, the family of origin, and or one of the parents, often the mother. Saturn has been retrograde in that area of the chart. Again, you may have felt held back by all those things since June, since Saturn has been retrograde, and now it's time to move forward with that grit and determination for you in those areas. All right. Libra for you, this is the fifth house of creative self-expression, joy, creativity, performing ability, also children, and sports, leisure, pleasure, hobbies, play, also love affairs and romance. With Saturn stationing through that chart, your creativity may have felt dampened with it going retrograde. And now again, things are going to start moving in that area of your chart. So how lovely is that for you too? All right, let's go to Virgo. Virgo for you, this is sixth house, which is a house that your sign likes. But Saturn has been retrograde in this area of your chart, and this is the area of work or service, the nature of work you do, your day-to-day work experience, the style of daily living, your relationship to service and mentoring. Can also be related to health and even pets, this house. So again, you may have felt restricted in this area of your chart, and now Saturn is going to start moving forward, and you're going to feel like you can kind of little bit of liberation as Saturn gains up speed, and you can move forward in determination in those areas of the chart where events or just your own limiting beliefs may have held you back in some respect in that area of the chart. All right, let's move to Leo. For Leo, this is your house of significant relationships. This area of the chart represents the nature of all your significant relationships, including your partner, but it can be adult children, good friends, business partnerships, business work friends. And it's also this patterns in your relationship and how you compromise yourself for others. Again, Saturn, limiting beliefs. You may have felt slightly shut off from your significant relationships for a while, like they're not getting you. It's like these blocks, and then Saturn is going to move forward and things are going to start shifting in that area of your life. Cancer, the 8th house, the house of intimacy, deeply bonded relationships of the emotional, psychological, and sexual nature. It's also sexual interest and expression, and you've got Aquarius in your 8th house. So, you know, that can be a kind of a little bit the energy of quirky and kink in that area. And you may have been kind of held back or had some limiting beliefs around kind of expressing that for a while. It's also the realm of the deep psyche and kind of underlying reality and taboo subjects, also shared financial resources. And so you may have had restrictions in that area, somebody holding back or delays in something in that area. But things are going to start moving for you in that region of your chart. Gemini, 9th house, your higher self, your sources of expansion and inspiration, your personal beliefs, religious or just, you know, spiritual, your personal experience of the divine, whatever that is for you, is in this area of the chart. It's also travel and other cultures and higher education, formal or informal. So again, limiting beliefs, feeling held back since June while Saturn's been retrograde in that area of your chart. It's time to move forward and start building and pushing and working on those areas. Taurus. Taurus is in the house of your public self or the nature of your career. And this is your reputation, how you're seen in the world, and your visibility to the world. And this could also be one of the parents, also often the father. And Saturn loves this house, and you've got Aquarius in this house if you're Taurus rising. And also look at your sun sign, of course. But this is really good for you. You may have been, again, limiting beliefs, held back in these areas. You may have felt like, you know, I don't want to be out there in the world. It's June while Saturn's been retrograde and we've had all these other retrogrades. But now, again, it's time to kind of get to work, determined, grit, push forward, achieve, really time to change things around. Okay. Last but not least, Aries, of course, is last but not least. Aries for you, this is in your 11th house of community, groups, organizations, causes, social consciousness, can be politics, associations, and also your hopes and wishes, your hopes and wishes for the future. You may have felt like a little bit lonely in groups, not connected, disconnected. Saturn moving forward will change that. But also, with it being the house of hopes and wishes and moving into the future, now is time to really kind of set your stall out and start pushing forward. Okay. All right, so there's all those signs again. I'm going to go and splice it in with the video and launch another premiere. It was fun doing a premiere chatting until it kind of stopped. But anyway, it's all good. So before I leave, I do want to tell you all that I'm having, because of where all of this Saturn station and the Venus cazimi and the eclipses, where they're all happening in my chart, I am taking a pause on doing one-on-one readings, consultations, because they're very time intensive and energy intensive. And for the next 5 months, I'm doing an intensive class in horary astrology to expand my knowledge. And I also am writing my 4th book. So my focus and the only way to work with me is going to be my Venus enchantment community, kind of like my Patreon, if you like. And I have an offer. Those of you who join for a year, which is $253 for a whole year, between now and the end of December, you will not only track this new Venus cycle, where the Venus star point in Libra occurring tomorrow as I record this, but you will also get the next Venus retrograde journey class, which is next summer from July to September. You will get access to that class, which is kind of my signature class. You will get that free, but only if you join by the end of this year, and only if you join for a year. I can't have somebody joining for 1 month, $23 and getting access to a whole class. So it has to be the yearly membership. And since I'm going to charge $349 for the Venus retrograde class alone, you can see that the yearly membership at $253 is excellent value. So check it out below and come join us. I do daily video reports, almost daily, about 5 days a week, 2 calls a month, 1 Venus moon conjunction call, where we look at the Venus cycle and you get to ask questions on your own chart, and also Cosmic Owl Astrology School, where I'm gradually teaching astrology slowly because I feel it's best kind of absorbed over time. And we do a lot of chart practice there as well, and looking at your own chart. You'll also be able to find out what your own Venus star point is. I pull tarot cards. I just want to throw everything into my community for the next year and grow it so that I am freer to do the other work as well. So I hope you'll check it out. Come join me, $253 for a year, and you get a $349 class included if you join. All right. I will see you next time. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.